When your old career gives you lemons, throw in some ice, mix in some vodka, and call it a podcast. From the Mac of All Trades studio in Fairport, and driven by Victor Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, it's Billified, the Bill Moran Podcast.
Thanks for getting your pod on. Thanks for telling a friend. That's how we spread the word about the pirate ship. Kevin's in his Ranger gear. Danny's in his Joey Bosa gear. He's all excited about Bosa. He's not saying anything. He's not saying anything.
I mean, yeah. It's cool.
Right.
I like the signing.
Okay. We'll get into it later.
Vaughn 2.0.
Yeah, we'll get into that later. We're also
Vanilla Miller
joined by Richard Gray from Gray Metal Products, who is a long-standing Rochester company, which I think is amazing. And he was telling us before we started here, because I had read something that the company started like in 1890. He said more like 1900, 1905. But a lot of times we hear about, the next generation, the business falls apart. They maybe just don't have the business acumen. Maybe they were, I don't know, a little spoiled, grew up, and these guys took this thing and it exploded. There's Gray Metal South. There's this. It's incredible what you've done, or what your family has done, I should say.
I'm fourth generation.
Yeah.
In the family business. So to get to 4 generations is,
wow,
an accomplishment in itself.
Go back to the Roosevelt era, the first Roosevelt era.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, it's
Teddy.
Yeah. And it's hard. It's hard to have business, and the climate changes, and how hard it is even within our own state to do things.
The state makes it difficult. Our benefit is that we can look at a P&L statement from North Carolina, P&L statement out of Georgia or Tennessee plants, and we can say, okay, taxes and labor in those plants is about the same.
Right.
It's the labor up and down the East Coast. You're not going to hire someone for $15 an hour today. You really aren't.
Yeah.
We all offer the same benefits. Insurance down there is a little cheaper. Health insurance, due to the fact that you really only have one health insurance company in the state of New York, sort of like your cable TV provider. It's Spectrum.
Right. Right. We're all on the spectrum.
You can't go anywhere else, right?
Right.
But down there, they have where they can get competing quotes, and they can get competing quotes from out of state companies. Where we're not allowed to do that in New York.
Oh, okay.
So
I love New York.
Well, I don't hate it, Danny.
The only thing we have in this state is the fact that we don't have alligators, hurricanes, tornadoes, earthquakes, mudslides.
I'll take it.
Sharks.
I'll take it.
Yeah, I'll take that.
They're giving us fires, though.
Well, we are getting fires.
Downstate. Hey, you can't say hurricanes because we've had hurricanes here.
Yes, we have.
Yeah, New York. They got their own problems. They take all our money. They can afford a hurricane every once in a while.
Look, I lived in the South. It's beautiful, but the summers are very hot.
Yeah.
You don't want to be down there.
Where in the South were you, Carolina?
I lived in Raleigh.
Yeah,
So I lived down there for 5 years.
Oh, do you know Bob Ullman, who owns the Ullman Theater in Lyons? He had a housing company down there.
No.
Okay.
Why do you know Bob Ullman?
Because he owns the Newark Pilots and the and the Geneva Red Wings. He also owns the Ullman Theater, which is the oldest family-owned theater in America.
Who was the guy?
Lyons.
Oh, you weren't part of the show then. We used to have a guy.
He owned St. Lawrence Homes in Raleigh, North Carolina.
Called an old. He was a bicycle. It was Harry from Cary, North Carolina.
Oh yeah, I remember Harry from Cary.
And he had Harry had a bicycle shop down there.
No, a T-shirt shop.
T-shirt shop. That's right. I thought it was a bicycle
There's
shop.
a Harry Carey's in Chicago too, isn't there?
Yes.
That's
well,
the
that
Cubs
would
guy.
be
That's
that would be the Cubs guy.
Chicago
Yes,
Cubs
that would be.
guy,
The,
By the way, small world. I ended up recruiting a guy who knew Harry from Cary and remembered his T-shirt shop. I'm not joking.
Wow.
Yeah.
So the primary customer for Gray Metal Products, I would assume, is HVAC companies, right?
HVAC distributors, wholesale distribution.
Right. So home builders, commercial stuff as well.
So we do light commercial.
Yeah.
Light round. Square is it's just our product is very freight sensitive. We do prefab, so we can nest residential.
Okay.
Where spiral.
Yeah.
You look up and see that's big round ductwork in Wegmans or Walmart. We do the round, yes. We don't do the square.
Oh, you don't do the square.
The square we have a few companies that will pass off square if we have quotes on it. That's not something that you can really stock. We ship from stock. So residential you can stock.
Yeah.
You know, you can put 100 feet of 6-inch pipe in one.
So are
piece.
they doing more residential in the round now?
You do a lot of residential. That's, you know, strictly for all homes are round and square.
Yeah, well, I remember square used to be the thing.
Well, your ductwork is square, but through your walls or, you know, your
oh, I got you.
You're to you know, you have to branch out from your square duct to rooms, and then going through the walls.
But even that used to be sometimes square, but a tighter square, like the old tin thing that would come up.
That is wall stack.
Yeah,
that's stacked. That's in the wall. So it's square. You know, it's
so it would fit between the
2 1/4, 3 1/4.
Boy, do your research.
No,
you know, 10-inch wide, 12-inch wide. Now it's oval.
Yeah. Okay.
Now it's an oval, so they can snap together. They used to have to slide that together.
Yep, they did.
So you would need 16 foot in a basement to slide that together, and then you have to feed up where.
Yeah.
Now you need 8 foot. You snap the oval together and you slide it into a wall.
Did you do stuff? Did you do HVAC in addition to the company? I mean, did you ever go out with the guys just to see it?
No. I've been on a lot of
That's what
sites.
I mean. That's what I mean.
Been on a lot of job sites. We, you know, if the contractor, you walk into a job, a new home that's being built, you want to see whose name's on it. We stamp our name on everything. So
I got you. Yeah.
Pretty cool to walk into a house if you're looking at. We just got a house for my son and daughter-in-law, and I told the realtor, I said, I'm not buying a house unless my product's in it. You know, the house was built back in the 40s or 50s, and you know, fortunately, had our product in it.
Look at that.
You know, so it's cool to see that.
Sure it is.
You know,
yeah.
But no, you know, job sites, you go out on them, you see them, you want to see what they're doing.
Right.
These big apartment buildings or high rises and stuff.
Yeah.
You're going to need residential. You have to, you know, you can't use spiral in an apartment.
Right.
Spiral is exposed. It's all of ours is put behind the wall.
Right. So that's why you see the stuff in Wegmans and things like that. Right.
That's why you see it's exposed.
Yeah.
There's no reason to cover that up.
No.
You know, it's a commercial product. But our product, you know, we sell to an HVAC distributors who in turn service the contractor.
Okay.
You know, these, you know, contractors aren't stocking it. They'll deliver it to the job site. You know, we're doing one job at a time, where we have distributors that have, you know, a value in a home today is probably $1,800 to $2,000, depending upon the size of the home. It's $1,800 to $2,000, you know, is what you're going to pay from the contractor. So we have distributors have probably in inventory 100 homes.
Okay.
You know, 100 homes worth value.
Yep.
But we backfill every one of our distribution points. We backfill once a week.
Okay.
So we make 350 deliveries a week.
Wow.
Around the East Coast.
Okay.
And that's just our location out of Avon.
Yeah.
We have, you know, the other four locations. They have their own trucking fleets as well.
You got an empire, basically. And in a way, I mean, it's kind of nice what you built. Like it started out like, look, I would think that your great-great-grandfather would be so proud of what's happening.
I think my great-grandfather would.
Don't you?
My grandfather, my dad.
Yeah.
You know, we lost my dad 18 years ago. So I think he would be happy to know that the fourth generation has continued the traditions.
Yeah.
We didn't take a step back. Usually when you lead, you know, you lose a person that, you know, my father's position, you know, when he took over the company, I think I told you he had 5 people. Him and my mom were side by side.
Yeah.
So, you know, even though us kids were in the business and we were out, you know, the other divisions were started and we were dealing with the customers, everybody knew my dad.
Yeah. Right,
you know,
right. So there's that big presence.
They want to see, you know, they want
to talk.
Was it like a Tommy Boy situation for you where you're going out there?
No, I mean, I'd been in sales since I was 19, 20 years old. So, you know, I joke with my mother, I joke with my brothers because we all have our own distributors.
Yeah.
You know, a radius. We stopped the Mason-Dixon line.
Okay.
If I go south of the Mason-Dixon line, I'm going to get a phone call from a family member, not happy. And if they come north, I'm going to call them. But we service the whole East Coast, and we go out as far as Illinois out of our facility.
All right.
Oh, Land of Lincoln.
And you've told me back in the day you were a kid,
We were on
7,
the
8,
plant
9-year-old
Yeah.
working on the floor.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I
We
thought I
did
had that.
there was nothing that us and my sister included, and my mother. There was nothing that that my family did not do on a plant floor. My mother, I can tell you, 10 years ago, we were joking, and I said, my mother can run that machine and get, you know, that much production off that machine. And my mother was 73 years old, and she went down to the machine and sat down on the machine and for 4 hours, and she did the production. And I, laughed at a 20-year-old kid that said it couldn't be done. I said, she's had a couple surgeries on her neck. She's had her hands operated on. She's 73 years old.
Meanwhile, she's got dinner in the oven too. She's multitasking. Dan is in the kitchen. Grandma got me working.
I'll tell you, you're gonna laugh at this. A 14-inch elbow. It's a pretty big elbow. It's a 90-degree elbow. And we used to put them in donuts. We call them donuts or rings, 4 to a ring. And you would put a dozen to a box. Well, that box was probably as wide as this table on each side and about that high. And my mother would cut one in half, make it up, tape it, throw a couple blankets in it. My youngest brother, Joey, that was his playpen, so she could sit next to a machine and run a machine.
Yeah.
So us kids there was nothing we didn't do. Yeah. My sister included, my mother.
So that's a great American company, right? I mean, when you think about and brought up almost, I don't want to say by the bootstraps, but by bootstraps, right? I mean,
we were brought up in the business.
Yeah, that's So, Kevin called me yesterday and said we could talk about the tariffs with you.
Yeah.
Now, just to get people, I think people hear tariffs. I think we see a lot of headlines now. I don't know that we absorb a lot. I think that there's almost too much information that comes out.
It scares people.
It does.
It scares people, rightfully so. But I think it was said before even tariffs, before any of the talks of tariffs, that to move our economy forward and to straighten a lot of things out in our economy, we're going to feel pain for 6 to 9 months. Now, I just looked at the new CPI number that come out. That dropped. That's lower today than it was February's number for inflation.
What is CPI for people? Costs, consumer price index.
And so inflation is down. It's lower than what they expected to be. It's 2.7%, I think.
Okay.
For the month of February. I think they were expecting 2.9. So when you really look at the percentage, it's 8% less than what they were expecting.
Gotcha.
So the market started to recover a little bit when that number come out. But people get scared with tariffs, and it's not just steel. It's
avocados from Mexico.
Well, hey, I forgot to bring in avocado and a dozen eggs.
No, this is the thing. But just for people, President Trump signed the executive order, I believe, at the beginning of February, and it was 25% on goods from Canada and Mexico. I believe it was 10% imposed on China. And 10%
additional 10.
Yeah, additional 10, right, on what's already there, right? So now that I don't know where that puts the percentage at overall total. And I think another 10% on gas and electricity and things coming from Canada. I think there was an additional 10% on those items as well.
Going into Canada, us selling product into Canada, we put a 10%.
Yes.
On energy products.
Yes, right, on energy. Going in.
Yeah. So it goes back and forth.
Yeah, gotcha.
People say steel and aluminum. Steel and aluminum is sold into Canada from U.S. manufacturers, and we buy. So it's cross border.
Right.
It all depends. Can we afford to go up there?
Well, look, I don't know. I mean, we live in a world where we could all walk into Walmart and things from China are really cheap, and we buy a bunch of crap. And I'll even go places, I call it like disposable clothing, right?
It's a place called Temu. That's just all Chinese products.
Yeah. I've never bought from Temu.
My buddy swears by it. He buys all the shit.
I had the app for a week and I took it off because I just get spammed every 15 minutes.
And by the way, I'm not saying that as I would never buy from Temu. I'm not saying that. It's too confusing to me.
I never have. I never have.
Keith, the camera guy.
Yeah.
He buys shit on there all the time. He'll come. We'll go golf and he'll be like, "Oh, I got you this thing for your putter, so you have to bend over and pick up your ball." Hey, thanks, Keith. What do I owe? 19 cents.
See, okay, so that sort of stuff. Can you put a tariff on the stuff from Temu? I would assume you could.
I don't know how Temu works, but let's use Walmart. They're the behemoth.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So if Temu is anything like Walmart, they're buying their products through anything that comes out of China that comes into the United States. If they ship it to a wholesaler and the wholesaler ships it to the United States, you're still going to pay a tariff on that.
Yeah. Right. Would it be the 25%? additional. I mean, here's the idea. The idea behind the tariff, from what I understand, and I'm not certainly not an economist anyway, but I would think is to get you to buy American. We want to make their products a little more expensive and support our own economy and buy local, only to support businesses, say like you, right? That's family owned, brought up here, expanded. It's an American made. You're an American success story.
Well, they're not doing it to force you to buy American.
Okay.
What they're doing is, a tariff
to level the playing field.
It's leveling a playing field, because what they're saying is, hey, you've abused us long enough. Okay. So, and you continue to do it. So if they have lower, they don't have lower input cost, steel costs the same.
Right.
Your raw materials to manufacture steel are based on a world price.
Okay.
So, and everything's traded on the US dollar. So it doesn't matter if China goes and buys raw material from India, they have to pay for that raw material in US dollar. So they have to take their money, convert it to US dollar to pay for that. The dollar is the currency of the world.
I don't know that most people knew that. I didn't.
So if you want to buy product, if Canada, so let's say Gray Metal wants to place an order.
Yeah.
I buy from a trader. Dan's a trader.
Yeah. He is.
Kevin's the steel mill, right?
Yep.
Certainly is.
You're the banker.
Oh, well,
So
it fits.
He's a great banker. He's the best banker we know.
Says,
Middle-aged white woman over here.
Dan comes and says, here's a price quote for steel, Richard. I say, great. I'm going to buy 1,000 tons.
Okay.
So let's call that 1,000 tons worth $2 million. Dan takes that order back to the mill. You are going to finance the mill, but he has to have credit insurance on me. So there's actually 2 credit insurance companies out there that look at our financial ability to pay for that material when it comes in, like a bank.
Yep.
They guarantee that if I don't pay him, he can activate what they call a letter of credit. The insurance company pays him that fast, then he pays them. He has to pay Kevin when the steel gets into port. So within 30 days, we have to receive that material in. So we have 30 days to pay. So he's financing the material for 60 days. If we don't pay 30 days after we receive that material, he can activate a letter of credit.
Okay.
And then that insurance company will not insure Gray Metal again in the future.
Gotcha.
So that's why people get credit insurance. But the dollar is the currency of the world.
Okay.
So you have China and a couple of other countries that are trying to put together and create their own exchange.
Like BRICS?
Yeah, I think that's what they
that's exactly what it is.
Brazil, Russia, India,
China.
China,
and
Korea.
I think Korea.
Yeah, I think so.
And there's an S in there somewhere. South Africa?
South Africa,
Yeah.
I think, yes. They're all trying to create
their own currency against us.
What they've done is, if Brazil wants to buy from South Africa, they use
BRICS.
Right.
Yes.
They use that money where they exchange the world.
BRICS coins.
And I think we've been in exchange for 100 years.
Yeah.
How did I never know that the world, like more or less the world economy is based on the American dollar?
You're too busy doing penis jokes on the radio.
Well, that explains it.
Everything moves on the American dollar in the world.
Okay.
Everything moves on your back. So that's why you hold the world's gold. We don't hold just our gold.
Yeah.
You hold the world's gold.
Gotcha.
This is Rick James's Rolex. Remember him?
When we talk about the tariffs and things, because I think there's so many people who are not understood. You know what I mean? So many people don't know. There was a woman behind you. She was pointing to a Bills logo on her sleeve because of Dan's hat. And so it distracted me.
Future Mrs. Barillo the third.
I apologize for that.
I got enough.
What I wanted to say was, like, with tariffs and stuff, they do sound scary. Are things going to cost more? There are certain things that we can't get but import them, right? Not always. I think you could probably get an avocado out of Southern California or Arizona.
Avocados from Mexico.
But
Chinese donuts.
Tequila is going to cost you a little bit more.
Okay.
Poor Sammy Hagar.
Would you?
He's old. He's out.
I don't feel bad for him.
Is there a chance that the tariffs will affect the supply chain in any way?
No.
Okay. So we don't have to about that. No delays or difficulties, probably because of all this stuff. There's
not going to play baseball season.
If you want it, you'll
get
pay.
Yeah.
Let me explain to you how tariffs work. Okay. So let's say let's say tomorrow morning, Donald Trump wakes up and says, I'm putting a 25% tariff on anything coming from China.
Okay.
Let's say that boat is 3 hours from the dock.
Yeah.
They have to pay that 25% tariff before they're allowed to dock because it's not been received in the United States. That is how fast tariffs go into effect.
You're kidding.
No, so what they'll do, anybody on that boat, everybody who's got product on that boat that has, that's going to be selling it to customers, picks up the phone and calls their customer and says, hey, there's 25% tariff. You have to pay it. When you sign a contract with traders, international traders, there's a clause in there that says if there's a tariff announced, you have to take that material and pay the tariff. That tariff has to be paid before that boat docks.
Okay. So, this is great.
They're passing the hat.
No, this is yeah, right. But so
I got 4, almost 5.
The tariff, the 25% tariff is paid by the country that's importing the good.
It's paid by the customer that's importing the good.
So I'm buying metal from him. His metal's on that boat. I got to pay him.
Right. But you're saying
Whatever.
I transfer it over to, hey, man, we're not taking it unless you pay this.
The company that made the product
Yeah.
isn't going to pay that 25% tariff. They're just going to pass that on.
Right.
So they say, we got to collect that tariff. We got to pay it up front. And they go to the people that sold their product for them and say, hey, you're the ones who have product on this boat that your customers bought from us. That's automatic. That's, you'll get an email and said,
and
hey,
so
you got to pay 25%. You might not be planning on that.
Yes, I know. That's what I'm
Then they
saying.
call the
and that's
the Somali pirates.
that's
I am the
Handle this
captain
boat
now.
real quick.
So that's a pretty significant hit. Like when we see things, the tariffs have been delayed a month, right? They're not supposed to start or kick in. So it almost, in a way, gave you some warning. So if I manufacture something and I put it on that boat and I'm selling it to you, I would pass.
And it takes you 8 weeks to get to us.
Yeah.
You're not going to put it on a boat because your customer's going to say, hey, if it takes 8 weeks, I'm not going to take it.
Yeah.
Material, you can't buy steel out of a steel mill. They don't stock it.
Right.
They put enough steel behind the line. So when that comes off the line,
I got enough.
it goes on a truck within 2 or 3 days and comes out.
Okay.
They don't have, you galvanized steel, you cannot store outside.
Right.
If it gets wet, it gets white rust on it.
So if we were just let's say it's clocks from China or something, and all of a sudden now there's a 25% tariff, and it happened when the boat's 3 hours out, as you said, who's got to pay that tariff? Me as the guy who's going to try to sell the clocks in my store here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
But you're saying,
and you're going to add 25% of that clock before you put it on your shelf.
Yes. And so then, therefore, I see that's where I think people.
Well, you're going to balance your inventory. If you have 1,000 clocks in your building, and you sell 300 a month, and you've got 500 clocks coming in, you're going to cost average your inventory. And in 3 months, you're going to be charging that full 25%. But you have a replacement cost.
Yes,
you have to figure out what your replacement cost is. I mean,
wow,
if we experience a tariff,
because
of how we do business and our inventories that we carry, we will experience a tariff and take material in. But you look at your replacement cost by the time you're finished goods inventory, how long it's going to take for that material really to start working its way into your manufacturing and your finished goods. Where's it going to affect you?
Right.
So, we won't do. And I had this conversation last night with my siblings. We wouldn't, as a company, do, if we were experiencing tariffs right now, the cost of a tariff or paying tariff, we would not immediately pass that on to our customers.
Not immediately.
That would probably take 3 months for us to pass on.
Okay, because you've got enough supply that
we have enough supply. We don't buy daily. We buy on a monthly basis, and
right.
You have a certain amount coming in monthly.
Right.
The tariffs.
So tariff goes into effect. We may not see the effect on our bottom line for a month, 2 months, 3 months.
2 months. It depends on what somebody does, or how fast, if it's a commodity, how fast they're moving that material.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's a steel supply, distributor who's buying that material, he's going to pass that on pretty quick to you.
Let me go back because I'm kind of dumb. And I mean this. When you said the tariff gets implemented and the boat's 3 hours out and they got to pay the tariff, who has to? Does that mean like Walmart's got to pay the tariff before that?
No, the trader does.
The trader does, whoever that is.
Well, the company, the company will pay it.
Yeah.
But they'll just add it. So let's say let's say I'm selling you a truckload of steel.
Yeah.
And I'm sending it down to the U.S. and the tariff doesn't go into effect till midnight tonight.
Right.
You're up. The offices close at 5 o'clock.
Right.
So your truck has to sit there till we open back up at 8 a.m. in the morning.
Right.
I'm going to have to pay. I have to pay that tariff, but I'm going to send you a bill for the tariff. I'm going to add 25% of the invoice and send it to you.
Yeah. So I get it back. Right.
So, the company doesn't pay it.
Right.
The consumer or whoever is buying the product and turning it into product is going to pay the tariff. Yeah. And then eventually the consumer will.
Yes. So it's a trickle down.
But tariffs aren't done to hurt.
Well, here's my.
It's the level of playing field.
Right. Is it opening new markets and new areas that aren't being tariffed to bring the product in?
Well, I think if you go back in the last 2-3 weeks, even if you go back to January, where Trump had announced he was going to do tariffs because we couldn't get penicillin, antibiotics,
right,
from China during a pandemic.
Yeah.
You couldn't get it. We were running out of medication.
They're trying to kill us twice
because your medication was made over there. So now you have pharmaceuticals. I think Merck was the most recent that announced they're going to invest $17 billion in the manufacturing, research, and sourcing materials in the United States. So it's a way to say, hey,
wasn't that what Kodak was going to do under Trump the first time?
I think some of
and
that.
then all of a sudden
they raised the stock price to $42, by $35 in one day, and I was like, just kidding.
Well, no, I thought that.
Well, I just came back.
It got announced.
It was not supposed to be announced, and I think it got out, and that ruined it.
Yeah.
I think they went, we don't want it. Who can we trust here? Yeah.
So when you look at a tariff,
take a picture.
Let's
talk
talk about
longer.
current tariffs going on.
Yeah.
You want to spur investment in U.S. You want some of that manufacturing to come back, so we're not relying so much on the world to manufacture everything for us.
So then I would say that maybe in your opinion and overall, like the reality is these tariffs are going to achieve their intended purpose, which is to level the playing field and not hurt American business, but actually level the playing field so we're not getting undercut by some other country.
It's going to bring good jobs back to the States.
Yeah. Because
good,
now
high-paying, jobs you can get into the middle class.
Yeah.
If you look, go back 30 years, what the steel industry was in the United States and what it is today, it's nowhere near what it was 30 years ago.
No, it's not.
We've closed plants due to foreign competition, but the tariffs that everybody's looking at Mexico and Canada.
Right.
You and I had a conversation that they're putting in. There's anti-dumping and countervailing duty cases that were started in September of 24.
Yeah.
That the current administration had nothing to do with.
Right.
And it's against 8 or 9 countries, and Mexico and Canada are on that list
for dumping.
Mills want to run at a certain capacity.
Right. So they're dumping.
So instead of closing a mill, it's going to cost me $2 million a day to close the mill.
Yeah.
So what? So I lose $200,000 a day dumping material down in the United States, but I hurt the U.S. mills because now I'm taking business so it would normally go to them.
Yes.
So your U.S. steel workers getting decimated.
Yeah. Think of it as almost like a photo dump, right? People get on and go, all these photos from one thing. Instead of closing the steel mill, I'm just going to get all this product, go at a really low rate, and we'll put it in the U.S.
Right.
They'll buy it. They'll eat it up,
market.
and it hurts the U.S. market.
And there's manufacturers take advantage of it.
Sure, they do.
Of course,
because I'm a builder.
If you don't, somebody else will.
If we don't, our competition's going to. And it's our facility.
Yeah.
But again, we have our standards for quality, or my family does. I can't speak to my competition.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be fair to. But we have a standard of material, that we'll use in the marketplace. In certain countries, we won't buy material from. Coming in here, I think I just looked at it with our production manager yesterday and our steel processing internally. We have used 80% of the material that comes in our building in the last 8-9 months is all domestic material.
Yeah.
Because we're trying to shift and support the domestic mills at the same time.
Right.
So,
right.
It's
hard. I mean, it's hard because it comes down to dollars and cents.
Dollars and cents, but
right? And cents sometimes spelled not with a C but with an S. So what's going to make the most sense? And cents in the end.
Well, steel is steel is a big thing. I've seen it all over. Steel and aluminum.
Yeah,
you're seeing it all over the last 4, 5, 10 days.
Right.
So the 8 countries that we were talking about, the countervailing and anti-dumping duties just alone is anywhere from 20% on countervailing all the way up to 50% on anti-dumping, which means we're going to punish you for your past
behavior, indiscretions. Gotcha.
Countervailing.
Yes.
Countervailing means they're going backwards.
Right.
And they're going to charge you this much. They're just going to attack countervailing. What they're going to say is we're going to have 20% the future.
Mm-hmm.
And then for anti-dumping to stop you from coming in and doing this again,
we're
going to add that.
Yeah.
And, this is all on top of the 2018 tariffs and anti-dumping. Some countries were allowed, okay, we'll charge you a tariff after you hit this certain quota.
Right.
So
what about, here's something that, and I don't want to go too long on this because I'm not sure where people's eyes start to glaze over, but I think is there a certain percentage of a product, let's say it's made overseas, but it's got so much, I don't know, screws from the US holding it together.
Like a Honda coming from Japan, but being built in Indiana.
Yeah. Is there a percentage? I mean, that's the stuff that's kind of funky too.
They're figuring it out. But part of the reason that they've done this with anti-dumping and countervailing duties and steel alone, coated products, let's call it coated products, is China couldn't afford to sell it here.
Could you call it China the way he does? China.
They were selling steel to pick one of the 8 countries.
Okay.
Russia. And
Russia.
then one of those 8 countries was coding it and then saying it was made here.
They're lying.
Well, the steel really originated. So that's why you see them say another 10% here, another 10% here. They're trying to stop this bad behavior out there.
Okay.
So, you can manufacture, you can bring it, the same thing. U.S. mills do it. They'll buy, cold roll or hot rolled, and then they will finish the processing here, whether it's going to be galvanized, galvanneal, or an aluminum coating on that material.
Right. So I could get cold rolled
out
out
of
Russia.
It's, they stamp the U.S. made in the United States of America.
Right.
Because you finished it here.
Right.
You bought it partially processed.
Do we have to be more honest now? Would the U.S. have to say, finished here, originated in Russia?
I think that's what the point of them
doing.
I think that's what they want to do.
Okay.
They want to say, okay, government contracts already state that.
Yeah. I don't think most people know things like a product could be, as you're saying, cold rolled or hot rolled, and we're talking specifically about steel, and then finished here and get the U.S. stamp on it, but it isn't really.
So when you assemble a car,
it's like most Americans. You're a certain percentage of different countries around the world.
Yes.
And you're making.
So, when you assemble a car, when there's assembly done here in the United States for automotive, they'll tell you 80% of the parts are foreign.
Okay.
Cars assembled in the United States.
Yes.
Or parts they give you that percentage on
they do.
You look at the percentage on your invoice or your window sticker on a vehicle.
Yeah.
It tells you the percentage of parts that were made in foreign and assembled in the United States, but with foreign parts, and it gives you the percentage of parts.
Right.
I saw something interesting on TV. There was a part that started a crankshaft to assemble a motor.
Yeah.
Started, I want to say in Pennsylvania, got shipped up to, it went to 3 U.S. states, then went to Canada for some processing, and then came back to the United States, or it went down to Mexico to be installed in a car. So that part traveled.
Wow.
That far.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Is
that they can do that?
Yeah.
That they can send that part 4 different places to be processed.
Yeah. But and because it makes economic sense for whoever's the guy paying the price.
Maybe Canada has the facilities to do that. We don't have the facilities down here to do the finished process.
Right. Interesting. I find it interesting, but I also think that it kind of gives a better perspective on what it is. And it's really just to level the playing field and hopefully in the end, bring our economy back. And I think you also said, since you mentioned that the US dollar is kind of the currency that everything's based upon.
It's a standard of the world.
There's talk of lowering the value of the American dollar. that wouldn't hurt. You'll hear that. See, we hear headlines and we hear bits, right? So that sounds scary.
It does.
It sounds scary, but it's not going to affect our day-to-day life.
No,
here.
lower the value of the U.S. dollar to make you more competitive, make companies more competitive, do business overseas,
Right.
because you have to pay us in U.S. dollars.
Yes, and the brick. So and now we got to compete against the brick.
If it's worth
bricks,
you know, if the U.S. dollar is worth less than, worth a little less, and and instead of being, worth 40-50% more than a Canadian dollar,
yeah,
or call it 2 pesos. I don't know what the exchange rates are. Those are easily available by Googling them. And you lower your value of your US dollar 10-15%. And those dollars, their money doesn't. All you're doing is bring yourself more competitive.
Yeah.
It's all electronic today.
Yeah.
I mean,
it is all electronic.
Do you think a lot of this is just negotiation? Like who's going to blink first?
I think it all is negotiation.
Okay. Because Trump loves to negotiate. I'm not making this political. That's just what he does.
It's not political. He's going to negotiate. He's going to renegotiate the USMCA, I think it was.
Young man.
He renegotiated NAFTA. NAFTA was the worst thing for this country.
Oh, gosh. And Weil went out of business because of NAFTA, like immediately.
Yeah.
You textiles went out.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You had a lot of Hickey, Freeman, and Rochester got
Right.
hurt because a lot of suits were made up in Canada and come back cross down.
Right.
Here.
Didn't Hickey eventually go to Mexico? I thought there was some kind of Mexico.
Hickey Freeman from Mexico.
I thought there was something. I might be speaking.
I
out
think
my
Chuck.
tush.
I'm not sure. I think Chuck Schumer put some type of deal to keep
Keep him here.
Keep them here.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's they were a big employer.
Yeah.
They,
yes, for many years. Yeah. Wow, that's really interesting.
But you can. All this is if you really want to look. Get away from the headlines.
That's the problem we live in.
Read the story.
Richard, we live in it.
Google into, what is a tariff, and then dig down into, you can look at these deals.
Right. Well, we all learned about tariffs.
You're learning pretty quick. Your dairy industry is shut out of Canada. If you want to sell milk in Canada, you're going to pay 390% tariff.
Yeah. And you got to put it in a bag.
And yes.
Yeah, it's true. It is in a bag, isn't it?
But I mean,
plus you got to put a picture on the milk carton now. That's an extra 50 cents.
Just don't put Kevin's.
No one would be calling because he's missing.
They don't put them on the gallons.
All right, we'll take a moment. Thank you for all this. I appreciate you. I didn't know if you were going to be on the computer. I didn't realize you were coming all the way in.
No, he doesn't listen to me. I told him yesterday you were coming in.
No, we leave tomorrow for Washington D.C.
Oh, cool.
Storming.
Just be careful.
Storming the rink.
It's springtime down there.
Cherry blossoms.
It is supposed to be like nicer and more. My sister lives that way, so
I'm hoping.
Yeah.
Anytime you get south of the Mason-Dixon line, it's going to be warm.
Yeah, it is.
Little,
at least warmer than here.
You're not going to get the 2 foot of snow. I mean, I've seen a foot of snow April 1st here.
Yeah, I know.
Don't you put that juju on us.
Yeah, no, I've seen Mother's
We're
Day.
We're going down for hockey, so I'm going to be spending quite a bit of time in a
bar,
freezing hockey rink.
All right.
I'm not sure this rink has bars. I don't drink. I can't afford to anymore.
We'll take a moment. A listener has emailed in with a question, and
Dear Bill,
I was waiting for you to be on the show to talk a little bit about Bob Rivers because I can't remember the story.
Okay.
I can't remember this. Bob Rivers passed away.
Oh, did he pass away?
Yes, he had
sorry to hear
esophageal cancer, and he's 68 years old. And
man, 68.
Yeah, young guy. Living in Vermont now, and I think yes. But
soon to be a Ben and Jerry's flavor.
I think he was doing maple syrup.
Yeah. Well, he used to do like
he did odd
he used to do
stuff.
honeybees.
Yeah,
It used to be honey.
Yeah, it used to be
like
honey.
the day that he like his contract ended.
The maple syrup bomb, like you do the flu bomb.
No,
to get rid of the cancer.
No.
Like when he was at KZOK, his contract ended. He goes, "All right, for 6 months, I'm just going to make honey."
Yeah.
And so he actually had a beehive in his house.
Yeah, he did. He was an interesting guy. We will get to all that right after this.
My dad was a steelworker.
I'm full grown, 29 and still at home. Raid the fridge, feed my face. I'm the son that's a disgrace. Live here free, don't pay rent. Brought the car back with a dent. I'm asleep, counting sheep. Thought I heard him scream again. Asshole son, you're a bum. You trashed the car again. Asshole son, what a bum. What a bum.
Is that a glitch or just the worst editing ever? I'm trying to block out a swear word.
I'm trying to figure out what it is. I think it's a glitch. I'm worried. I get worried. Things are happening over here that anyway. Bob Rivers, that was one of his parodies. Asshole son. Bob passed away, esophageal cancer, I believe earlier this week. I think it was 2 days
yesterday.
ago. Yeah, I think it was the day before.
Sorry to hear that.
And
got to meet him.
Yeah. And,
well, you knew him.
Yeah. I think.
What
was the story? What was the story?
How he became famous?
No, not how he became famous.
What did Bill text and put on the wall?
Remember that we were at this.
He was given a presentation.
Yes.
And there was a screen behind him with a website where you could show how to text and how to utilize texting with your audience. So
this was a new technology for radio at the time because it was coming in. I got you. Okay.
Right. So he's giving a presentation. He's also talking about other stuff because, he got Bob Rivers up there, which is like 3 people removed from Howard Stern. So people are texting, and he had a guy named Pedro on his show who would write jokes for Jay Leno. Yeah. So all these radio idiots, because that's what they do. Vote for Pedro, vote for Pedro, vote for Pedro. They kept texting the same thing, like as if they had an original idea. And Bill goes,
deport Pedro?
Because Bill goes, Jay Leno had just turned the Tonight Show over to Conan O'Brien. Billy goes, Pedro's the reason Jay's out of a job. The whole room starts cracking up. Now, Bob Rivers doesn't see this because his back is to the screen.
Oh, but here's the worst part of it.
Yeah.
His wife was sitting at our table.
Yes.
Does it say Bill Miranda, or does it just have his number?
It had his number.
Yeah.
And he turned around. And Bob had a good sense of humor about it because he knows he's in a room with a bunch of radio jerks, but all of a sudden Billy got the biggest eruption in the room until somebody else asked Bob a stupid question. Then BJ Shea walks up and then starts yelling at the kid for asking Bob Rivers a stupid question.
Radio so
anyway,
that was the first big room. By the way, that was the first day. That was the first event. That Thursday, we had just flown into Nashville.
And boy, were your arms tired.
Okay. Tommy said, "Bro, I don't even have to try here. It's like shooting fish in a barrel, making fun of these douchebags."
I was, Bob was a very talented guy and long time radio guy out, but mostly in Seattle.
Yeah, he made his claim to fame in Baltimore. In 88, the Baltimore Orioles went 0-27. And when they were 0-9, he said, "I'm not going off the air." He locked the studio. "I'm not going off the air until the Orioles win a game." Yeah. And then he lost his mind. Didn't he end up on drugs?
Yeah. There was some problems.
They went 0-24 before they finally won it?
Yeah, I think 0-24, 0-27.
Yeah. Right. So it was bad. But that was
they were affiliated with the Red Wings at this point.
Yeah.
They fired their manager, Cal Ripken Sr., and brought in Frank Robinson to manage the team. It was bad. And Cal Ripken didn't miss a game.
He is he did do all that and retired, and I think played keyboard for Heart, the band Heart. I think when the sisters got in a fight, they each got their own band and they went out as
Heart.
Yeah, some
Heart, they went out as Heart-ish.
Heart-ish, like I think Anne
half a heart.
I think Nan
broken.
Heart transplant.
Heart broken. I think
they did split for a while.
Yeah, they did.
And I know people who went to their shows and
I think Nancy got the original guys and Ann got Bob Rivers.
Yes. Right. Because nobody likes Ann.
I think that was
Wait, which one's the black-haired one? The thicker one?
Ann.
Okay, yeah, nobody likes Ann.
Yeah,
everybody loves Nancy.
Yeah.
Nobody likes Ann.
I interviewed Ann.
Because Ann, she was always I know people who actually met the Wilson
Yeah.
sisters. They say
Yeah.
Nancy's very pleasant. Anne's always in a mood. And
Because she knows you're judging her and talking to her like she's the fat sister.
it,
That's what you're doing.
it could be. I mean, I think they're both attractive, but in their own
So
ways.
Bob Rivers was the original Elvio playing keyboards
Yeah.
for a band.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look at that.
Singing I'm Still Standing
Yeah.
with heart.
That's right.
'Cause nobody else is.
That's right. And then let me.
I'm sorry to hear that about Bob Rivers.
I am too because
How's Spike taking it?
I don't
Spike
know.
O'Neill.
I don't know. I don't even know.
Didn't
where
he and Bob get into an argument on the air, and that's how Spike became his co-host in Baltimore?
Yes. He was
90% of life is just showing up, man.
Yeah.
Have you reached out to Pedro? Is he all right?
I have
Since
not.
she killed him in
I-
2003.
I don't. Well, Pedro, Jay Leno Jay was great. Jay was great to
You
his.
see this? They haven't about. You see this?
Yeah.
You happen to hear about this?
Your Jay Leno's very oddly similar to your Cliff Clavin.
Well, Kevin.
the Jay just was kind of generous and he would pay anybody $75. I think it was coming out of his money. I don't think it was NBC. If you faxed in, they had
Yeah.
a fax line, you could fax in jokes. If they used the joke in the monologue, they would pay you $75.
So I had a teacher at high school named Mr. Privatera. Mr. Privatera would write to Carson, and you get $50. So I guess
Okay.
the price went up after.
Sure.
Inflation.
Yeah.
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 Mm.
Price of dick
But he
jokes
would-
went up at 80.
he
How
would
did
fax-
he get him to Carson?
Because he would fax them to Carson
Smoke signals.
Okay.
in the 80s. He
In
faxed.
the 80s.
They did a whole article.
We didn't have a fax machine in the 80s.
Late 80s. He would fax his
Yeah,
jokes. to
fax
him.
machine in the 50s.
Yeah. Did they?
Government did.
Oh, the government did. Yeah, the government did.
He would,
Yeah,
he would use the
maybe.
school fax machine.
I don't
and he would
remember.
send him jokes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's how they were doing it. That's how Pedro did it, right? From Seattle, he did that. Question came in via the website, BillMoranProductions.com.
Dear Bill.
Here's a question to bring up on your show that I have been wondering what others think. Now, the funniest thing is I had this same thought as this guy because I saw a friend of the show and every picture on their trip, this was in it,
Okay.
or a lot of it. At what age should a grown man stop wearing a baseball hat backwards?
Shouldn't even start.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So and the person said, I'd be interested to see what your co-hosts think, including Laura. Now, Laura's not here, but I will bring it up with Laura. And I
because
thought,
Joe, every time he's got a hat on his backwards.
I don't know.
I feel like
I don't see Joe every time with it backwards. I see Joe with no hat. Maybe it's backwards, but there's somebody else I see. Every picture is the backwards hat. They're dressed up. They're at places, and the guy's got a hat on backwards.
you said dressed up, so that eliminates me.
Yeah. No, it's not you. You never wear. No,
The only time I'll wear my backwards hat is if I'm standing on the glass at the hockey game, watching the game, and I'm kind
Because
of
it-
leaning
because
in and I'm brimming into
yeah,
the
because the
glass. I
brim
turn it
gets in
around.
your way. I turn it around when
This is getting intense. I got to turn my head around.
I did it the other day. Ready to
Take it off.
Well, now I hadn't showered and I went to the gym and I was stretching and I do a child's pose where you're down and the brim. Yeah, well, that was close to. The brim of the hat kept hitting the floor, so I flipped it around.
You can't get to the floor.
I was pretty close, pal.
Where are you working out?
The why? What?
Young man,
What? I want to know what were you going to say?
Dunkin' Donuts.
Yeah,
I don't see backwards. I go to Midtown.
okay. And you don't see him there. I don't see him at the
You see a lot
Y.
of yoga
And I
pants.
see that. I go to the Y in Pittsford. I don't see a lot there either. But this one person, and if you guys think about someone associated with the podcast, they are in almost every picture.
Did
on
they
this
work
trip.
on a video recently?
Yes,
Okay.
you got it. Yep. Every picture's a hat backwards. And when I looked at it, I went, that's it. And I thought, okay, this is the kind of hard-hitting society shaking debate that we need, because this is the stuff. Tariffs, yeah. We'll talk about hats
I'm going to
backwards.
slap a tax so bad on anyone wearing a backwards hat. New Era's going to have to charge even more for their hats.
Here's how I would say wearing a hat backwards is like playing beer pong. Okay, you got to swing.
Well, a lot of guys who play beer pong wear their hats back.
There's a grace period in life.
Okay.
There's a grace period in life where you get to play beer pong.
Mhm.
It's completely acceptable. And then one day you look in the mirror and you realize it's time to let go.
Mm-hmm.
And
25.
yeah.
I may have had that realization, not about beer pong, but about drinking this morning.
Oh no.
I think I might have an issue and I might have to cut it back a little bit.
Oh, cutting back is there's nothing wrong with that. What do you mean? I might have an issue.
I quit for 3 months.
Yeah,
you were no fun at Lake Placid this year.
I was fun in my own mind.
Counter shots this past weekend, then they were fired in the city of Rochester. Hey,
Ew. Well, I
what do
think
you
it
say,
depends.
Danny?
I think
backwards.
yes. So
I'm not saying wearing a ball cap. That's different.
I gotta tell you, I think it depends. See, something happened about 10 years ago where hats became ridiculous. Like the generation, whatever the next millennials or whatever, ruined hats and jeans and sneakers. So now, if you want to buy a cool pair of sneakers, they all look ridiculous. You have to buy more casual shoes. If you want to buy jeans, there's these skinny jeans. You can't look like wear normal jeans anymore.
You just got older.
Wait a second.
Those are
you
European
can.
cut. That's a
No,
European
I'm talking.
cut.
Yeah, thank you.
It's a European cut.
Goes with your satchel.
No, I'm talking super skinny, like where the point where like
Denim tights.
where like your guts like hanging over.
Levi's yoga.
Okay.
Logan denim.
It's a European cut.
Okay. and then there's like the hat thing. And a lot of like I hate having a poofy, what they call high profile hat.
Uh-huh.
So if the hat I bought looks ridiculous on my head because I don't want to try it out in the store, or if I bought it online, if it looks kind of silly, I'll wear it backwards. Now, if you're doing it all the time, maybe that's just your look.
Okay.
I don't know.
I know, but it kind of looks ridiculous at some point. I'm thinking. I'm just saying.
Maybe that's his look. I think the guy that we're talking about, I
Yeah.
think can pull it off.
okay.
I know chicks that dig the backward hat.
I understand that. I would.
I got a friend who was drafted by the Atlanta Braves, so he was always wearing his hat forward in the game, but out of the game, he's wearing it backwards. Still wears it backwards.
Okay, yeah, but at 45, you're still rocking the clothes like you're waiting for mom to pick you up from the skate park, and you got your hat backwards. I think. Do you understand what I'm saying, Richard? You start to look a little dumb. We need to talk.
No, I understand. I understand that.
Right,
Like,
30, 40.
I wouldn't do it. I
You're
mean,
in your backyard.
there have been times when I've worn my hat backwards on this show because I'm like, oh my gosh, the hat looks ridiculous. I got to turn it around. That's the only time I've done it.
It's not the hat that looks ridiculous.
It's the face.
I haven't even noticed, and I wasn't bringing it up for that. I know
that.
all right, I'll say it because
No. It's okay. Keep it a mystery.
Do you think so?
Yes.
I was going to say
because this guy is not asking for trouble. He's a good dude.
I'm not asking, and I'm not looking to make trouble.
I understand that,
I'm
but
not.
like you don't know how people interpret stuff. We're outside our bubble.
But it stood out to me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think some
pro
people
athletes,
but
a
I do
musician,
think it's his look.
I think that's his look. I think he can pull it off. There's some people who have a face for it, and some people who can't do it. You know, it's just the way. Colin Cowherd always had a rule: if you're wearing a hat on backwards, I can't take you seriously, especially if you're a quarterback.
Right.
Blah blah blah. I can understand from a professional standpoint you not wearing the hat backwards.
But if you're a dad who's just been adjusting his New Balance sneakers and you stand up with your hat backwards, your kids are judging you, and so are we. I'm just letting you know that.
Your kids are judging you like if you wear like these kids now wear these boxy hats with these flat brims. I was wearing one of these hats, and my nephew goes, "That's a dad hat."
Okay.
I'm like, "Yeah, it is."
Right.
My generation wore our hats down like this and curved brim. We'll put a baseball in our brim and wrap it around with like a belt. Or
I don't remember that.
Sometimes a rubber band and like make it so, so you could look like with a curved hat.
There was just shit nothing to do in Silver Creek, so we had to manufacture.
You don't remember the El Duque look for the Yankees, the Andy Pettit look?
He was fabricating his hat back then.
But that's how we wore our hats.
Tariffs on how that works.
I can't wear a flat brim hat. So I don't care what kids think of me.
No,
finished product.
But my point is they're judging you no matter what.
Well, here's the thing. I think the backwards hat is about a vibe more than anything.
Yeah.
It's a vibe. And I will say, like, I get it in some things. Every picture, they're on vacation. Every picture was that. And I was like, that really stood out to me.
The other thing, too, is this guy,
odd
he's got good hair.
Yeah, I know.
I would just not wear the hat.
All right. Well, there you go.
You know what I'm saying?
See, was there a Brimmer? Maybe it was just a yarmulke. It's possible.
Okay, really? Like,
trying to help a guy
no,
out.
I understand.
Is he Jewish?
No.
Oh.
He's not. No. All right, we'll take a short little break here because we went long in the first one.
Sorry about Bob Rivers, man. That sucks.
Yeah.
Never wore a hat backwards.
And he goes 68, 33 years in there. Made a nice salary in radio, like a really nice salary.
He had his own plane.
Yeah, he did.
Which was still.
Does anybody remember the Barefoot Bandit? The Barefoot Bandit was the kid who stole a plane and like flew from Seattle. Maybe I don't know where he went.
He like 16 years
He was
old,
16.
15, 16.
It was this guy that we're talking about's plane that got stolen.
Okay. Well, that kid was
Yeah, they
pretty good because he had no lessons.
No,
He read online
you
how to
got
drive
it.
a plane.
You got
or fly
it.
a
And he
plane,
took Bob's plane.
Is
I'm
that the
pretty
same
sure.
guy who stole the tractor from our buddy Sean Fico?
No. You're right.
You go to YouTube, you can pretty much learn anything
Nowadays, I
except
don't-
how to win an AFC championship game.
well, maybe they did. We'll talk about the Bills
Oh,
and their new boy Bosa right after this.
in my eyes, indisposed, in disguise as no.
I had to play the original if we went with the Tariffs.
Oh, this is. Oh, okay.
Yeah, you can do it.
I thought Chris Cornell was doing
Cover
Bob
Rivers.
Rivers. Yeah.
Oh, so free agency underway. We still don't know of a home for Aaron Rodgers yet. I don't know that anybody's too upset about that. But I keep hearing that Antonio Brown tweeted out that it's a 2-year deal with the Steelers for Aaron Rodgers.
That he wants.
No, that he got it confirmed that it happened, and then it was pointed out that he did break other Steelers news in the past. AB.
Okay.
So I'm wondering, but we haven't heard anything.
No.
So who knows if that's the case or not? But
They must really hate Russell Wilson. They must really hate.
see,
Everybody.
I love that.
Everybody
honest to
must.
God, I'm not even kidding. That is the greatest. I love
They
it.
must. Everybody must hate
Oh.
Russell Wilson.
Why?
He's gonna end up with the Giants. He went in. They had Justin Fields as the starter. They brought in 2 quarterbacks. They sent Kenny Pickett back, and they punted
Yeah.
on him. So last year they brought
Kenny
in.
Pickett's on another team.
He's
now.
on the Browns.
Browns.
So they're taking out quarterback insurance, the Browns, because, well, let's be honest. And so you got this kid, Justin Fields, who has now since moved on to the Jets. And then you had Russell Wilson. It was like, oh, you got to give Justin Fields a chance. Oh, man, he's 4-2. Oh, man. And then they bring in Russell Wilson. And Russell Wilson was a better quarterback, and he is.
Yeah.
But
He didn't do badly. He was 6-1.
He didn't do badly. And he didn't really do badly the year before in Denver. The problem is Russell Wilson is a diva in a pain in the neck. And as much as the locker room really, backed,
Call him a diva.
Yeah, he did.
he backed.
He had his own office and stuff. Like, you used to have to make
in
an
Denver,
appointment.
In Denver, you had to get an appointment if you were his teammate. You had to book a call with him in advance.
With him to see, to hang out.
Like,
It's like
the guy took himself way too
you're a
seriously.
football player.
But then in front of a camera, he was like the biggest phony. And in Pittsburgh, they were like, yeah, thanks for the memories, but you're not going to help us get any further along.
Well, they haven't announced that he's not there, right?
Well, he's a free agent.
Yes, but
They haven't called him home.
No, they haven't called him home.
If you really want somebody, you're going to make the effort.
I would think so. Like the Bills did lock up Hamlin for 1 more year.
Yeah.
Oh, now.
That was more of a marketing signing.
Okay. Why?
Let's be fair here.
It
It was.
All right, hang on a second. Kevin is
He wasn't good 3 years ago.
a fan of the New England Patriots, who is AFC East, and I only bring that up because it seems like there's an AFC East arms race going on in this free agency. I saw some nice moves that were being made.
New England had to spend money. I mean,
Yes.
it's not like hockey where there's that basement number you have to meet, but they had the most cap space of all the teams, and you're coming off of a shit season where you're blaming it on the coach,
And you got
not
a
the
new
ownership.
coach. Right.
You got a brand new coach in there.
Yep.
You got a rookie quarterback that had, me and Daddy to throw to last year. you got to bring something, and they still haven't brought in a receiver yet other than Mac Hollins.
They brought it back Collins.
Well, they did bring Mac Hollins, who I didn't hate with Buffalo.
Right, but he's
He was their second best receiver.
Right. So, but
he's
whatever
32 and he's making $8.5 million. I mean, every player that New England's brought in from Buffalo has basically turned into gold.
yes,
You had Chris Hogan.
Yeah.
All these players come in and they suck at Buffalo.
Mike Gillislee,
Gilmore wasn't
Gilmore,
bad, and
Antoine
Stephon
Smith
Gilmore,
won a Super
Antoine
Bowl.
Smith.
I didn't think
He wasn't bad, but he.
Oh, there was the other running back
Fumble.
too in the early 2000s that he was a role player for Cleveland. He was a running back, but he was pretty good for them too.
Well-
And I mean, they because they actually coached him up. Now, I mean, things might be different with Vrabel. We'll see. I don't think Mac Hollins, like for all the people think they know, they're in the know. When Mac Hollins signed back with the Patriots, it was like, oh, what the heck? And he didn't sign for that much.
no.
Like 2 years and $8 million.
2 years and $8 million.
So okay, so that tells me the Buffalo really like, hey Mac, thanks, you filled a great role,
Yeah.
but we're not going to break the bank to
No,
bring you
because
back.
they paid Josh Palmer 12.4
and he's
or whatever.
6 years younger.
Yeah. I
Than
still
Mac.
think
Yeah.
they need another receiver. I don't know if they're going to bring back Amari Cooper. Has he signed with anybody?
He's not.
Okay, so
Cooper
I mean,
Cup just officially got released, so he's out there.
but the Bills aren't going to go after Cooper Cup because they already have Shakir. They're both slot receivers.
Yeah.
So I mean, I like the Palmer signing. A lot of the radio guys west of Batavia hated it, right? And then the film guys came out and said, "Oh no. This kid's got it. He was underutilized in LA, and they think they found a diamond in the rough at a decent price. He can get separation, which is something Bills receivers typically, other than Shakir, really haven't done. Matt Collins was able to do it last year.
Yeah, he was.
And they're hoping that Cookie Monster there, Coleman, could do that and be that guy too. They get a bunch of guys who get separation. Sky's the limit with the offense.
What about the Joey Bosa signing?
I like it at $12 million 1 year. You're going to see now in the NFL and Major League Baseball a lot more rentals, 1 year rentals, right? And Bosa's he's 4 year. He's 4
We got to hang out sometime. I'd love to freaking hang rentals. That's what they are, though, right? I mean, they are. They're rentals.
He's always hurt. Like he missed 20 games the last 3 seasons.
Who did?
But Joey Bosa.
Yes.
He's always hurt.
Yeah.
So here's your problem.
Here's my question.
You got him and Milano who are always hurting back there, right?
9 years.
And Von Miller, technically, as old as he was, had better numbers than Joey Bosa. So is the idea that they're just going to rotate him like they usually do with everybody else, or are they going to play him more? Or are they going to play him less? At $12 million, you basically saved $8 million off getting rid of Vaughn, so you're paying him really just $3.5 to $4 million.
Well, let me ask you. I don't think we've. This year,
no, we haven't talked.
I haven't seen you.
No,
no, we talked.
We talked Sunday, but that was after Vaughn.
Right, Vaughn. Do you still think? I thought we talked about him coming back.
He could
at the veteran minimum.
He could. They say that he'd be insulted by that. He might be worth more like $3 million.
Okay, but that fine.
Okay, or he could re-sign with Denver and end his career there because he's a Bronco, really.
He's want to do that.
Well, I mean, it depends on his mood.
Yeah.
You know,
I guess it does.
Okay. I mean, he's going to go on their wall of fame if they have one.
Yeah.
Von Miller. He's a legend there.
Yeah.
So I could see that. Or I could see him coming back to Buffalo. I could see them going after Leonard Floyd. Leonard Floyd out-sacked the Bills with the Bills and without the Bills. Like he had 8.5, 9 sacks. Those sacks were missing significantly last year when he left the team, went to San Francisco. Oh, what did he do? Oh, he had 8.5 sacks.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Guy leaves and continues his sack total. Interesting. Now, I don't know if he'll come back to Buffalo, but right now they're grasping at spare parts. They've extended their core guys at hometown discounts. Allen's only the 9th highest paid annual quarterback in the NFL, which is mind-blowing. I mean, now he's going to get all $333 million of that cash. The $250 guaranteed plus everything else. Sure. He's a quarterback.
They should have gone after Darnold and saved that money.
So many people, man, when that draft went down,
I was one of them.
So mad.
I was one of them.
Josh out. Wrong, Josh. What about Sam Darnold's the best quarterback?
Sam Darnold was taken.
No, but he was considered prior to that. He was the best quarterback. Why aren't we trading up to get him?
I made the argument that the Browns at the 1st and the 3rd pick. I said, why don't you take 2 quarterbacks? There's no way you could screw that up.
Well, the Redskins did.
I'm sure there is a way. Let me ask you, though.
And they're saying that Cleveland might not be done with quarterbacks. They're saying that Kirk Cousins might still. And could you imagine? They'd have almost $500 million tied up in quarterbacks.
Oh, my God. Yeah. What's the cap hit for Atlanta if he goes?
If they trade him, nothing.
Oh, do you think it would be an out-and-out
No,
trade?
no. That would be a huge – well, because he hit $100 million guaranteed.
Yeah.
If you trade, you still have to eat
You've
the bonus.
Been busting your ass in a family business for how long? You built it up. You got it.
These guys are tossing a football or a baseball.
You got $100 million.
You still
their hats backwards.
You still have to
Look at
assume
the shit they do when they're on vacation.
Yeah, I know.
When you sign a guarantee
around them, you don't want to be pictured with them. They're
No.
making it's a stupid amount of money.
It is. It's a crazy amount. It is.
What were Elon Musk in there?
Well, no, the point is when
He'll
you guarantee somebody their money, that money's due up front, like right now. It's spread out over the cap over several years. So the contract length is really just the amount of years they have to put that money against the cap. So let's say I sign for $100 million guaranteed, a $200 million contract, but only $100 million is guaranteed.
You get that tomorrow?
5 years. Yeah, so you get that up front with a lot of teams, or they'll split it up a little bit. But the count against the cap goes over 5 years. 5 years, so they could. So that money now has to be accounted for that they've already paid.
And if you're from Canada, you don't even get that money until the boat docks.
Let me correct this. Correct me if I'm wrong. The money gets paid up front.
Mm-hmm.
What if the guy goes out in the field and gets hurt tomorrow morning?
He does.
It's part of the guaranteed money. So what we're talking about is the guaranteed money. When you see like Josh Allen gets $250 million guaranteed, so
that money
you're telling me that's going to be in his bank account before.
It depends how they
potentially-
structure it, but
Okay.
but let's put it this way. According to the salary cap rules, that money is now due right now. And you can spread it out over that length of time. But the point is
You
that
gotta pay it
now you are
before the boat docks.
you are responsible for that money in your cap right now.
Oh, okay. I got you.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Right.
In your
Like,
cap
like I don't
right
think
now-
Terry's writing checks going
No,
like Happy Gilmore. All right, Josh, here's a $250 million payment.
I got you.
I would
so
absolutely
he's maybe
request that though.
getting
I
30.
would too.
So it'd be like the 30 million or whatever. Okay.
If I ever interview Josh, my first question, hey, you ever ask them to pay you in Happy Gilmore checks? 'Cause they probably would.
What do you think the psychological toll is on players getting cut, having to relocate, learning a new system? It's a high pressure deal. You got 1 year, you're Bosa. Granted, it's 12.5 million.
If he has a kick-ass
let me
year-
cry my heart out for you. But I'm just saying, like, maybe not.
It's
Not necessarily
They write off the cost of the house. They have to take a hit on the house they're living in.
Yeah.
They
It's
move into
football.
another city and go around all the bars and restaurants and pull their crap. And
Yeah.
you know,
I'm
A lot
just
of times
wondering,
these
like,
guys
is he
have-
married?
It's football. You find the edge, you find the hole, you make the set.
I don't know if he's married. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know his story either. But I'm just thinking, like, Kirk Cousins is, right? And there's a lot of kids in that family. Am I wrong?
Oh, yeah. He's got several kids. Well, his wife's from Atlanta. And so, I mean, they
so
had a house
Atlanta was
down
kind
there.
of going
Yeah, it
home.
was like going
Yeah,
home.
but he's got 250 million reasons to tell her to shut the hell up.
Dude, he's gotten more money for such a mediocre quarterback. It's ridiculous. From
Such a
his
nice-
guaranteed years in Washington
Yeah.
to the big contract he signed in Minnesota
Well, didn't
to the
do
contract
badly
he
in
signed in
Minnesota.
No, he wasn't bad, but he was never going to win a Super Bowl. He's only going to take you so far. But for Cleveland, man, you get a playoff game, they'll throw you a parade. They went 0-16, man. They made a parade circle around the stadium for a 0. Do you
No,
remember
they
that?
had it. They had a quarterback took him to the playoffs. They sent him to freaking Tampa. The one guy
Well, they-
won anything for him. They
Well,
kicked
they
him
had
the
two,
hell
they had
out.
two quarterbacks. One was Baker, and the other one was Joe Flacco.
Yes,
Joe Flacco
yes.
was the big hero. He stole DeMar Hamlin's Comeback Player of the Year award. Well, he just died and came back to life, but he was a quarterback.
He did a great job, though.
I mean, you resurrect
yeah,
Cleveland.
but Flacco went back there and he made.
He made them a playoff team.
Yeah, he did. What was
He-
it?
and then
Just-
Stefanski
did
wa-
he didn't replace Deshaun first, did he?
Yes.
He did. He was right.
Yeah, Deshaun got hurt. And
no,
then,
he was in right away. I thought they had somebody in between for a second.
No, they had a game or two, and then they brought Flacco off the couch.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So they had a game or two with somebody else.
right.
And
Well, he
'cause
had Dorian Williams or somebody like
Yeah.
or, no, or
it
somebody
was
like that.
was just terrible.
Yeah.
That guy was running for his life.
Yeah.
It was like, oh,
But Kevin
God.
Stefanski has won 2 Coach of the Year awards because, man, if you can get the Browns to the playoffs, it's like working a miracle. It's like you're St. Doug.
Yeah,
Remember Doug Marone?
Yeah.
I'm St. Doug.
it'll be
I
interesting.
resurrected Syracuse. I resurrected Buffalo Bills. They should make me a patron saint. Then he takes off for New York and doesn't get a job.
I don't remember him saying that, but I'm sure
Oh yeah,
he
he
did.
said that.
I'm
Tim
not-
Graham
I'm
wrote a
not-
whole piece about it.
I'm not going to deny it. If you say it, it's like.
Remember we interviewed him? He was cool as heck to us.
If you say it half, it's correct.
Well, I will say Danny's memory is like he's got a memory. My sister does the same thing. I don't remember anything like that stuff. I think I black things out.
It's because you drank and were cool in your teens.
Yeah, maybe that might be.
Yeah, that's
part
true.
of it.
That's probably true.
I don't think that's why.
You were the designated drunk. not
But I
the
mean,
designated driver.
I don't know that the Bills.
that is very.
I don't know the Bills are any better or any worse right now than they were when the season ended in Kansas City. I don't know. I'm kind of excited about Bosa. I'm excited about Josh Palmer, but I think the real issue is your head coach and your offensive coordinator and your defensive coordinator, your schemes, your offense, your defense. You got to figure that out, man. You had 3:33 left, 3 timeouts and a 2-minute warning. You're down 3. You didn't have to run a 2-minute offense. No, we got to take James Cook off the field. We got to get down and score. And what happened? All they had to do was milk the clock and score a touchdown. That's it. No, we can't do that.
That's it. That's all they had to do. There wasn't any other planning involved in that
I
at
know.
all.
Look, I don't know.
Well, the moment they pulled
I
James
don't
Cook off the field, they
It
told
was
Kansas City,
weird.
we're in 2-minute mode.
Yeah.
Okay,
see what you're saying.
send the defense. So what
Yeah.
happened?
Yeah.
Allen, 6 plays, 17 yards, 11 on a scramble, and 6 on 3 on a pass to Curtis Samuel, where he tripped over his right tackle.
Yeah.
When was your
It's
last
6
job in the
plays.
NFL?
That's why I shouldn't talk about it.
No,
Maybe you're not right. Maybe they have analytics.
Dalton
that say
Kincaid
it's not
dropped
right.
the football on 4th down. Number 1 draft pick.
Can't
They
blame
traded
that-
up for
can't
the
blame that
guy.
on a
Here we
scheme.
go. Here we go.
Guy dropped it.
Well, there is the guy dropped it, but
But you told the
Well, you were
Chiefs,
telling-
hey, your second
There
best
are a lot
player's
of-
not on the field. What does
Yeah.
that typically mean?
I've
We're
read
going
that.
to 2-minute mode.
I
Because I
think-
asked Thad Brown from Channel 8, I go, why didn't anybody ask McDermott about James Cook? He goes, well, if you've been watching the entire season, he hasn't been on the field late in games. I'm like, Oh, so he can't pass block,
Yeah.
which means, hey, we're going to pass
Yeah.
every single play.
Yeah.
So they pinned their ears back and they went after. The Bills don't need any more help. They need a psychiatrist in that freaking room.
Check your watch. I think it's going off. You're having an AFib situation.
no. All
He
right.
gets wound up.
Yeah,
67
Danny,
beats.
Danny does get
67
wound
beats.
up.
I'm still
Danny
good.
gets wound up. All
Am I
right.
wrong? And then look at the Sabres, man. They're awful.
Well,
I was waiting for him to turn his hat backwards. He was getting really wound up there. I mean, he pushed away from the table.
Oh, that's
He
funny.
was turning red.
This is what we call Wednesday.
We'll take a moment.
But I like the Bosa signing. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Glad. That's nice. That's nice. All right. Good.
Oh, no. They did a good job there, but fuck their scheme.
Yeah. I did read, I think in the Athletic or somewhere that they were telepathing what they were doing, right? Telegraphing. I'm thinking telepathically. Telepathic. Is that even a word? Telepathing. But telegraphing. But telepathic.
That's your one friend from like that one
Yes.
lady that comes in. She was telepathing the
Yes.
plays to Spagnolo.
Kevin has a game, right?
I do.
Closest to the pin.
Name that Pope.
We'll play that. But I also want to tell you about this Miami-bound American Airlines flight and what happened on this
Another flight.
Yeah, this
with
happened on the
problems.
flight. And it involves religion. And I just thought it would
does
just get your
involve religion?
No.
Okay.
Pray to God the son of a bitch
Let's
lands.
see what that is. We'll get to all that right after this. still say a well-deserved Grammy for the rock album of the year, in my opinion. But I don't know.
What were they against?
The Black Crowes had an album out.
I think they're against Pearl Jam too.
Yeah.
And the Beatles.
I'm not sure if the Beatles were in that category or not. I don't know if they did get in there. They were in like pop or something. But I'll tell you briefly about this because I was going to save it till tomorrow because I got an emergency call and we were taking a moment.
Scott Poop.
The intersection of mental health and religious belief. That's where we're hanging out, right at the corner of happy and healthy. A Miami-bound American Airlines flight had to turn back to the gate because a passenger believed he was boxing with the devil in row 12. I'm not sure. In an attempt to protect himself, swallowed rosary beads and violently kicked a flight attendant across the aisle. But he was having like a psychotic break.
Yeah.
But did say that he's got some kind of, I'm not sure.
Illness.
No, I don't know. I mean, might have had a demon, might have been possessed. I don't know.
Could be just seed oils.
Could be the seed oils.
Could be 7 or 8 beers at the bar. The horse. That's the
But you
airport,
go,
Could be.
man,
Forever chemicals come in different shapes and sizes.
30,000 feet, they charge American Airlines to start charging for exorcisms. Bags fly free, but $50 for it.
Okay.
They should just have extra parachutes on there and find a way to just push off the plane so you can just keep going.
That would be great because it screws everybody.
You got to
up.
stop here. Where are we? I don't know. Kansas.
Kevin's got a.
It's always Kansas.
Feet first.
Kevin's got.
Tuck and roll, Grandma.
Is this theme that tune closest to the pin?
It is.
Oh, I wasn't sure. Okay, theme that tune closest to the pin, and Richard's going to play.
So how does it work?
1 point for title, 1 point for artist. You put down a year. We reveal the years when the song was released,
Yeah,
and that's your closest to the pin.
yeah.
But you can get points off for the title and artist.
It's
You
like
get 1
frig.
point.
Okay.
Why is it him and Hillman are the only two that can't understand
I don't know.
simple math?
I don't know.
Well, no,
somebody
I've never
else
never
wrote
played
me
this. I've never played
saying
this.
they love playing this game, but the scoring was confusing for
Well,
them.
I said the first time we played, we had to figure out the scoring. And you're
Yeah.
like, no, it's good.
I thought it was.
All right. Because you won, probably.
I don't always win. Often I don't. All right, here we go. I got to get to Gates Child.
If you don't know the title or the artist, you just put down a year.
Once there was this kid
Oh,
got into
Laura, we don't sing.
and come to school, but when he finally came back,
Hair's
his
hair.
might as well go for a so that nobody hurts and nobody cries. Might as well go for a so that nobody drowns and nobody dies.
I got nothing.
At least put down some years so you can get into the game.
What I want when I choose.
I can take the fall as a choice.
I think it's the best song with Sammy.
It's my destiny.
Wait,
You didn't know you knew that.
Oh, well, that I did.
Yes, I do.
Man, it's a hot one, like 7 inches from the midday sun. Well, I hear you whispering the words melted.
One.
My wife hates this song.
Really?
I can't figure out why. We used to do it.
That's why you ruined it for her.
I never did it for her.
Next one might be one you could do with her.
I think Danny's going to crush on this. I'm missing some titles here.
This is literally the album cover that pops up is literally the worst picture of this person I've ever seen in my life.
In a world, few hearts survive.
All I know is the way I feel.
You danced to this at your wedding. Stop making face over there, Richard. No, I didn't.
Is long. There are mountains. Josie's on a vacation far away. Curve around and talk it over. So many things that I wanna say. You know I like my girls a little bit older. I just wanna use your love tonight. I don't wanna lose your love tonight.
God damn it! Even the 80s, I can.
You said you own the 80s too. And you
I know,
you're
I
getting
can't.
crushed. Stuck Danny a couple times too. It's a beautiful thing.
Oh, yeah. Oh, hang on.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to.
It's hidden far away, though someday I may tell
Oh, wait, no.
the tale of metal tango. Went into your world, I fell. Without you now I'd wander, soaking, secretly afraid. But in your grasp the fears don't last, though some of them have stayed.
Going back to the top.
Crash Test Dummies.
It is Crash Test Dummies.
I am not coming up with the title. Oh,
And it's 1994?
I said 1997.
1993.
Oh, Danny, nice job.
Not close enough.
That's all right. Oh wait,
It was on the Dumb and Dumber soundtrack.
this is Kim Mitchell. Go for a soda.
It is Kim Mitchell. Go for
And
a
I
soda.
said 1986.
I said it's 79.
1984.
Ooh. So I'm even then. All right. So this I knew was Van Halen. I don't know the song.
And Hagar, Billy.
Oh, and then, so when Danny said that, I had already written down 96. It may be 86.
I wrote 95.
I think it was 96.
It is 1995.
Oh,
Don't
Danny
tell
in the
me.
hole.
What Love Can Do from Van Halen.
Do I get an extra point for being in the hole?
No, you get
10.
10 off. So you're like minus whatever. I'm 3 over. Smooth Santana. And Richard, anything?
I had Santana.
Yeah, good.
Santana with Rob Thomas.
Well,
We'll give it
it's
under
under
Santa's song
Okay.
featuring
Okay.
Rob Thomas. It was Santana's out. You're right. It was a
Okay.
bunch of different artists. singing.
1999.
I said 2001.
I'm going to say probably 2003.
1999.
Wow, another one. 10 off. That's 20 off.
All right, I'm down. I think I'm 2 over.
This is Chris Isaac.
Yeah, I couldn't come up with the title.
Wicked Game.
That's right.
1991.
I said 1998.
1989.
Oh, it was 89. Wow,
Yeah.
really?
So,
Wait a minute.
my-
Because the video came out in like 91. I remember watching it in the 90s specifically.
Nothing came out in 89. The video would have come out in 91.
I'm 10 over.
It looked like a Calvin Klein
Check
ad.
out the album cover for this one.
Oh, this is Joe Cocker? God, I would have never got this.
79.
This was Jim Belushi doing.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah,
Officer and a Gentleman.
Officer and a Gentleman. I said 84.
Joe Cocker and Jennifer Warren.
Yes.
From 1982.
Oh, I was 2 off on that
It's
one.
only 3 off there.
So, excuse me. Oh, no.
All I know
Oh,
is the way
yeah.
I
All right. 112. Because I didn't get it.
keep it alive.
You good now?
Yeah.
Over there.
I can't remember who this next one was. And I don't even think I have the title.
Rick Springfield. You interviewed him.
Is it Rick?
You interviewed this guy.
Are
with
you sure it's
Julio.
Rick Springfield?
It's the outfield.
Yes. It's the outfield.
Oh, it's the outfield.
Yes.
Oh,
I knew it wasn't Rick Springfield. That's why I didn't write it down. I deserve a point for
I
that.
don't want to lose your love.
I put use your love.
It's your love. The
your
outfield.
love. All right. Well,
From
if you've got your love in the title, you get a point.
1986.
I said 84.
I said 81. So
So I was 2-1. So I'm at
what's
13.
the outfield, right?
Ah. The
Last but not least,
Okay.
Fish, free, 1996.
Great job. Was
it is
really?
fish. It is not free, and it's not 1996.
I had Toad the Wet Sprocket. I don't know. 2004.
It is fish sample in a jar from 1994.
Oh, so I was 10 off there. So that puts me at 23 total.
Okay. All right, I got to total these. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9,
No matter, you won.
10. So I got 10 points for the theme, the tune, but I don't know the theme. And then
There's no theme.
oh, okay.
Oh, sometimes there is.
If I feel like
-6, -8, -11, -16, 17, plus the -20. So I got +4 for the. Yeah, I kicked your ass.
the math just works out that way.
Yeah, the man just I kicked your ass.
And so it boasted your ass.
Right into the turf. Richard, it was a pleasure having you in here tonight.
Thank you.
And I really enjoyed not just the laugh, but
Tariff
the tariff. Well, the tariff talk I think is important, and I think it explained. Hopefully, it explains to some people. Kevin, another
Yeah, we
great
just
job
talk
with the
tariffs. No big whoop.
game. Danny kicked my ass in the game once again, and I'm Bill Moran, and we will see you tomorrow.